welcome to the living room makeover. So in this video I'm going to be sharing the living room tour and the kitchen tour, just because somehow they are connected, which you guys are going to see as we go on. Client's brief was give me a very contemporary and luxurious living room, so we decided to go all out. For them, the most important part of this project is the living room and the master's bedroom. They were very particular about what they wanted for the spaces. So, but good thing again is that they were not so fussy about what they wanted, if that makes sense. They allowed us to really have our input, have our say, and even advise them professionally. And listen, when you see a project or clients like that, the difference is always very clear, because what it does to us is that we just put on our creative cap and we want to give you the best. This living room is a blank canvas, and the brief was they needed a dining section on the other side of the living room. So the challenge again is that this room is such a small space. I'm telling you, this room has challenged me to my core, because we had to be very exact with our measurements, so we're able to divide and still create space where people can walk through into the living room and out of the living room. So it was more like proper space management, and I'm so happy with the way it has turned out, because with the exact measurement, with the exact type of material, with the exact texture and everything, we have created a very luxurious living room for this client, and I cannot wait for them to see it. So the first thing we did here was to wallpaper the whole living room. They wanted the other part of the dining to be molded, but I kind of advised them against it, because it's a small space and we want it to flow. We want symmetry in the living room. We don't want it to feel congested with different designs here and there. So I just promised them that don't worry, we're going to make it really beautiful, stand out as a dining area, but let us not mold. Also, because when you see the TV media wall, we have a lot of pattern on it. So I just felt like too much pattern in the space is just going to overwhelm the space. So that was why we advised them against it. So we came up with the idea of breaking the living room into two. So from the door, there is a little space for you to walk through, and then you have the dining on the right side and the living room on this side. So we moved the ceiling light we had here such that we can create dropping light for the client at the dining area, and also have a proper ceiling lights. Yeah. So also, to break the two spaces into two, we introduced the large rug into the space. So now when you come in, you automatically know where the dining is and where the living room is. In the living room, one of the brief was to install bespoke curtains, which of course had to increase the budget. We also created a TV media wall, which is so beautiful. Now, another challenge with this TV media wall is the fact that the space for the TV media wall is so small that if you're not careful, you end up creating a very congested TV media wall. So this is what inspired the style that we went for here. We decided to use one side of the TV media wall for display and then have the TV on the other side. They wanted to actually use a very large TV up to 65, 75 inches, but I advised them against it, because again, it's going to overwhelm the small space. So they listened, and then we decided to go for a 55-inch TV, which we have right here on the TV media wall. So this is a Samsung 55-inch TV. So it goes very well. So we introduced pattern with the cupboard. This cupboard has doors for storage. For me, that's the only way we could introduce storage into the space with the TV media wall, such that they can, hide away some things that will make the space look really cluttered. Let's talk about the curtains. Because we introduced a textured wallpaper, which is really warm. This is a very warm textured wallpaper. Because we introduced that, we knew that we needed to go a little bit light with the curtains so that they contrast, and it just speaks volume. So we try to introduce the cream curtain, which is very, very textured, by the way, just so it can blend with the TV media wall. The TV media is not cream, it's a bit beige, but you won't even notice it. And then we also introduced a cream sofa. Now, they wanted a blue sofa, but because of how small the space is, I told them, you know what, let's still introduce that sofa, but in another way that will make this space look really sophisticated. So instead of introducing a navy blue sofa, we swapped it and we decided to introduce navy blue accent chairs. So we use the accent pieces to introduce the colors that they love so much. That is why you have seen this layout. We also decided to use a three-seater to divide the living room and the dining, so which has really turned out very, very beautiful and functional, so that you know that this is the living room and that's the dining area. We introduced a coffee table. This coffee table is so heavy, guys. The marble on it has made it super, super heavy. It looks small, but it's super heavy. Even the guy that was installing it could not carry it alone. He was like, oh my, this thing is heavy. So we introduced this very gold coffee table. It's a small coffee table. I think it's about 60 cm or a little bit more than 60 cm, but we try to make it very small and round as well, because the space is small. So we can't even afford to have square coffee table that would just be scratching against anybody walking around. So we just had to keep it round, small, and still stylish and luxurious. So the marble on it makes it very, very luxurious. And then because of that, we can't have too much display on the coffee table because the coffee table is quite small. So we decided to go with this tray on it and introduce our candle. We also introduced this little plate that we use to hide away some of these rechargeable remotes. And then the tray as well contains all their remotes and this little flower that you can see here. So that is it for the coffee table. We kept it very simple and lovely. Now for the chairs, we introduced the accent colors with the cushion covers, which really, really looks so beautiful. This particular white cushion with blue fringe is my absolute favorite, and I love the way it's just on its own, grabbing all his attention. And yeah, so accent pieces in their favorite colors with neutral cushions that are textured as well kind of adds a lot of luxury to the space. We also introduced these two accent chairs in blue. They're swivel chairs, and the reason why I specifically wanted swivel chairs is because you have seen how small this living room is. You've seen that if you don't have swivel chairs, if you're sitting on it, you might not be able to turn to any direction, maybe towards a dining, towards a TV. It just goes anywhere. But for the sake of keeping it tidy and looking functional, not really functional, but for the sake of keeping it tidy, we choose to face it to create that conversation setup, right? So this is how it's going to be, but then it doesn't mean that you cannot swivel it to the other side of the TV to watch TV. So it's very, very, very practical for this space. We also have the side table that we got, and I like that it is cream because it blends with the three-seater. And then we have this very beautiful lamp. So because I know that we're going to deal with just one lamp here, we can't have two table lamps in this small space. I decided to go all out with the lamp. I wanted the table lamp to stand out, so that's why we chose this particular lamp. The base is so beautiful, the shade my favorite, and it's just a standalone and it's so beautiful. It's just making a statement. Behind one of the swivel chairs, we introduced a floor lamp as well. This floor lamp is so beautiful, it's so practical, such that you can turn off all the big lights and just have that one in the evening, just chilling, reading, doing anything. I really love floor lamps a lot. I feel like they have their own, they have their own function, and table lamps have their own function. So it's now our ability to differentiate and know where they fit in. So that's what we have done here. So when you look behind me, you might not see it in my background. We have a very beautiful mirror. Now, let me tell you something that really inspired us to use this mirror. We wanted to open up the space. We were, in fact, if you watch our style a lot, you will understand that when we have a small space, one of our main goals is to make that space look even bigger than it originally looks. So this mirror facing the door kind of allows light to bounce back and then creates that bigger illusion. And I love that it is black. We couldn't have done gold color because of course the wall is really, really warm beige, so we wanted something that would stand out with the patterns and everything. And it's quite a large mirror, so we definitely needed to go large because first of all the wall is large enough and we have that big patio door facing it. So that's what really inspired that. And then let's talk about the ceiling light. The ceiling light is so beautiful. Kai God, let me tell you something. If you're not careful, you might overwhelm your space with big light. So looking at this space initially, it was as if this light was so small or was going to be so small. I think this light is about 50 cm width. So you think it's small, but because I have that experience of working with small spaces, I just think that this was going to suit this space. So we didn't want to overwhelm the space with a very big chandelier such that you can't even see the TV, you can't even see the dining. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So this light is just perfect for it, and it's so unique and beautiful. Now let's talk about the rug. We introduced this rug, this abstract, beautiful rug, as a way to tie in the whole space. If you look closely, you're going to see a very light shade of blue, and there is also beige, there is also neutral. In fact, everything is just, it just ties in the whole space. Like, the moment we laid this rug, I just knew that, oh my god, I was so excited because it just made sense. It just looked so beautiful. So that's what we have done here, and we try to make it really large just to give that large illusion. We didn't want to keep it small because of course the space is small, so we needed to make it look bigger. This is all we have for this living room section. We have the dining section. So like I said, the client wanted molding on that dining section, but we advised against it just because we wanted to keep it flowing with the wallpaper just the way it is without having too many patterns. We also changed the radiator into a designer radiator because, as you can see behind me, we were going to have accent chair here and not the big chair, so that was not going to cover it, and I couldn't even afford for us to have console table. So that's why we have that. That's why we had to change the radiator, and it looks really stylish. So we did the same thing with the dining area where we have that, and then we decided to introduce this glass dining table. The reason why we introduced the glass dining table is because, of course, it's glass. We wanted see-through. We didn't want something that would look so cramped up in that little space. It's quite a very small space, you know. We also introduced the cream chairs to tie in what is going on here in the living room. Now, if you look closely, you're going to see the ceiling lights, dropping light. It's so beautiful, and we decided to do dropping light just to say, okay, this is a dining area, that is a living room, and that's what that light is doing. And then we have this big frame on the wall. The frame is such a big frame. I think it's about 100 cm by 100 cm. It's a square frame, and it's so beautiful. We used it to introduce the colors we have here in the living room into the dining area because, of course, the dining needed to feel like a part of the living room. So that's why we have that particular color frame. Very beautiful, very colorful. And then we also introduced plants in that area just to add light to the space. So we decided to use that corner there just because we know that having a plant in that corner was going to also, you know, serve the living room. Okay, and then we introduced a small frame here, this very lovely brown frame that you can see on this wall. And I think that is it for this living room. I'm going to take you guys to the kitchen. So we did a thing in the kitchen which I'm going to show you guys in a bit. Just before we go there, please go ahead and smash that like button and subscribe, because see, I'm giving you guys premium content and you can't help it. Go ahead, subscribe. Let's go. The brief was they wanted a breakfast bar in the kitchen just to augment for what they have in the dining. So if you look closely, we have moved a little bit of what we have going on there into the kitchen. The kitchen is such a neutral space, but we decided to add a little bit of color into this space. So we have this breakfast bar, which really complements the kitchen cabinets that you have here. And then we have this orange bar stools. Listen, these orange bar stools, we were very, very intentional about it because this was one way we could introduce pop of color into the space. The space feels really bland with the kitchen cabinet, but with these bar stools, it just gives it life. So that's what we have done with this space. Very simple with the dropping lights. We didn't want to move this too much. So this dropping light, whoever is sitting here will have to be very, very careful because you just have to sit there. This one, so the light kind of divides the two people that are going to be sitting here to eat. And then we have a clock here. That clock for me is very functional because there was no other place we have or we could have the clock. So I love the position of the clock. We also introduced these frames. By introducing these frames, we introduced the blue color we have going on in the house. So that's what we have done here. If you look at it, you can tell that that's what we have done. So now for the window, kitchen window, we introduced Roman blinds, which is similar to what we have, the curtain we have in the living room. And then we just simply accessorized the kitchen. We didn't do much. We just made it look beautiful, accessorized, and lovely because it's a new build house. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this bar stool. Let me know what you think about how we have divided the dining and the living room. Let me know what you think about the TV media wall. Listen, I just feel like we smashed it. You can't help it. You don't have any choice. You can't say otherwise. We smashed it. So yeah, it looks so beautiful. It's been a very tedious project, especially because the client gave us a very tight timeline. They need to move in tomorrow. So what I'm trying to say is that this has been a project that has stressed us a bit, but we're happy to see the turnout. We're happy with the result, and we're looking forward to the review in a few minutes. That's the truth. Few minutes. So at the time we're filming this video, in few minutes the client will be here. So yes, please, you guys should not forget to reach out to us for 2025 projects. We are open to bookings, and don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. Follow me on all my socials, because more of this before and after. You guys know the before and after. We're gonna be doing more on Instagram. So stay tuned, and I'll see you in my next video. Stay fabulous. Bye.
Won't you stay a little bit longer? I'm sorry, didn't mean to, but I heard you cannot undo it. So please stay. I know that we've been fighting, but can't we just hold up? Maybe stay up, try to make things right. I don't know why I did what I did. Somehow I think that I lost my head. Don't know why. Don't know